Welcome to the Hidden History series. In today's episode, I am going to discuss the fifth element, which is the ether. The ether has been an investigation for hundreds of years, especially in the 17th and 18th century, and very well known about in medieval science and alchemy. Through understanding the way light travels, this became known as luminiferous ether. There was a lot of physics in the 19th century trying to prove that this luminiferous ether existed, but also some experiments to prove that it didn't exist. So what is the luminiferous ether? Luminiferous, meaning light-bearing, was the postulated medium for the propagation of light. So as that light travels, it will be affected by that ether, kind of the space in between objects. The Michelson-Morley experiment was performed by two scientists, Albert Michelson and Edward Morley, in the year 1887 to explain the presence of the luminiferous ether. This is a very simplified version of the experiment, but in this experiment they had a light source, then shone that light into half silvered mirrors positioned at angles where the light bounced off those mirrors. Other mirrors were positioned to catch that light that bounced off, and then that light was detected and recorded. The experiment was an attempt to measure the motion of Earth relative to the luminiferous ether, the ether being the empty space with the sun being the light source. Luminiferous ether is the theoretical substance that acts as the medium for the transmission of electromagnetic waves. It allows waves to travel. So the ether was assumed to be a transmission medium for the propagation of light. Although the luminiferous ether was believed to be a theoretical medium in the 19th century, if we go back, the origins of the ether are with the Greek philosophers in 400 BC, who saw it as the divine element, different to the four classic elements, earth, air, fire and water. In Plato's theory of the cosmos, he writes that there are different kinds of air, and the brightest part is called the ether. But when the special theory of relativity was developed in 1905, the concept of the luminiferous ether lost significance. The Michelson-Morley experiment compared the speed of light in perpendicular directions in an attempt to detect the relative motion of matter through the stationary luminiferous ether. So the idea was to detect the luminiferous ether by recording the light waves that are bouncing around this half silver mirrored grid from the light sources and where they crossed over with each other. They set this experiment up in many locations and at different times of the year, seeking different results. But no matter what angle they sent that light, it always brought back the same results, the same waveform patterns. They got the same interference patterns, and this then gave them enough proof that the ether didn't exist. So this was proving that light was not being carried by the ether, because the ether didn't exist. The procedure depended on the Michelson interferometer, which is a device used to measure the changing pattern of the lights. It takes a beam of light and splits it into two separate beams and then recombines them into a single beam again. There is much more to this experiment, but this is a very simplified version. We have to remember that this experiment was based in a different point of history and based on how the Earth and planets move in our universe, that we are stationary and fixed, no motion. Isn't there more to consider where we are at now? With quantum science and the developments of space, could this idea not now be revised? Is it possible that Einstein created his theory of relativity to remove the existence of the ether to counter the conclusion of this experiment. This is part of Albert Einstein's speech in 1920 at the University of Leiden. According to the general theory of relativity, space is endowed with physical qualities. In this sense, therefore, there exists an ether. If we look at James Clerk Maxwell, who was a Scottish physicist who created the classical theory of electromagnetic radiation, which was the first theory to describe electricity, magnetism and light as different manifestations of the same phenomena. Maxwell's equation for electromagnetism have been called the second great unification in physics, where the first one had been realised by Isaac Newton. Was James Clerk Maxwell's work to disprove this idea of the ether. With the publication of a dynamical theory of the electromagnetic field in 1865, Maxwell demonstrated that electric and magnetic fields travel through space as waves moving at the speed of light. He proposed that light is an undulation in the same medium that is the cause of electric and magnetic phenomena. The unification of light and electrical phenomena led to his prediction of the existence of radio waves and bringing us into today's age. We also have Walter Russell. Walter Russell was an American polymath known for his work as a painter, sculptor, author, and philosopher. Russell wrote extensively on science topics, but he was never taken seriously by scientists, as his ideas were proven unfounded and eventually disproved. He reintroduced the idea of the ether and also another type of periodical table. Russell's periodical table was based on his own philosophical and metaphysical principles, which were quite different from the principles of modern chemistry. His table was based on his ideas about the structure of the universe, including concepts such as the dynamic balance of opposing forces and the interconnectedness of all things. So everything is connected. Whether or not Walter Russell, Nikola Tesla, Victor Scharberger and many more were right and wrong, all their work is deeply fascinating to understand. They held plans and patents that suggest devices and mechanisms that could change humanity forever. But what has happened? Have we removed the fifth element from our reality? Have we removed this ether? If the science we know today is so correct, why can't we explain the paranormal? Or why does it not at least consider it with its experiments? How do we have flying crafts using anti-gravity technology? Does this not surely extend the need that science needs to be revised, and this possibility has to be seriously questioned? The ether can explain many subjects that remain unexplained in our world, and we have reached an age where we believe that we know everything in this world. But what if we don't? What if we are going further away from what we are? We still live in a theory of evolution. Yes, it's a theory and still never been proven. But yet, so many never question this and base their beliefs on something that has too many flaws. But they just accept it as that is the science they live in. If we can understand this ether, it can help bring us intuitive knowledge and empowerment. And I believe that it doesn't exist and won't exist unless we are conscious and aware to it. Is it possible the reason why humans are so confused on this planet is due to their misunderstanding to what this world is? Has the very basis to our reality been altered? Thanks for watching, everyone. Please subscribe if you haven't already. If you're enjoying this content, please consider becoming a patron of the channel or a member. and you will receive exclusive content. Thank you everyone, and I will see you next week.